All right, so in this video, we're going to talk about the next element that you need to include as part of a successful microphone message. That's for your message to include at least one thing that makes it different. It's what we call the X factor effect. And I'm going to start off with a story that we love to share about the X factor effect. It's the story of Ole Christensen. And so in 1932, he wasn't having a really good year because he had to lay off a bunch of people in his furniture making business, and his wife died, and sales were extremely slow. Okay, so 1932 wasn't a good year, and so as you can imagine, he was looking for something different. And what he decided to do that was different in 1932 was to start a toy making business. So he started making wooden toys. Ole Christensen started making these wooden toys, and it actually helped him to be able to take care of his boys, and it helped him make some additional sales. And since the toy sales of these wooden toys started to work so well, he decided to form a new company called Lego. In 1935, he officially named the company Lego, and he combined two words, leg and got, which mean play well, and that's what Lego stands for. Leg, got, play well. Very good. And so the question you might probably asking now, okay, so if Lego had its start with these wooden toys as a toy company, then where did the Lego bricks come from? Well, in 1947 to 1949, that's when they first started to create these little bricks, but they would just sell them in bundles, and the kids would kind of just be able to, stack bricks on top of each other. And this is what the first Legos looked like. But Ole's son, Gottfried Christensen, in 1954, received an insight worth billions of dollars. Here's the quick story. On a trip to England, while speaking to the head of a large shopping center, he figured out that the problem with the toy industry was that there weren't any toys on the market based on a system. That's what this head of the large shopping center was trying to explain to Gottfried. And after thinking through this issue and speaking with his father, they agreed that the toys need an idea and a system built around it. And children only have been offered ready-made solutions. They need something different that will strengthen their imagination and creativity. And so they took those bricks and they turned those bricks into the Lego system of play, which allowed the kids to buy different systems and build upon all of the other systems. So instead of it just being individual toys, it was a system of toys, an ecosystem of toys that could be all used together and built one upon each other. And here in the United States, Lego also started to sell their product. And here's one of the first commercials that Lego launched in the United States that helped Lego take off here in the United States and then across the rest of the world as well.
Lego is here. Hey, kids, look. A whole new world to build. 'Cause Lego is here.
This young boy had such fun. He used Lego one by one. With an knick-knack, paddywhack, do double plane. This young boy glad Lego came.
Lego, a whole new world to build.
This young girl had such fun. She used Lego one by one. With a knick-knack, paddywhack, built a house of grand. This young girl's a Lego fan.
Build hotels, animals, people, boats, skyscrapers, and more. So kids, get your Lego set now at department and toy stores everywhere. Lego, the sensation of Europe, now made in America by Samsonite, who make it better for longer lasting fun.
Woo! So that's how crazy, right? That's one of the first commercials that helped Lego go crazy viral. Pedro?
Lego's here, man. Rejoice. Lego is here, and I just wanted to point out how they did a joint venture with Samsonite to bring the product to the country. So a lot of times when you want to get started in a new market, if there is a company or someone there you can could do a joint venture with, now it could be the best possible route. So it's just interesting. A lot of people don't know that, but they had a factory back in Europe. So they needed someone not only to receive the product and store the product and sell the product, but they didn't know what product to ship, right? And it was expensive shipping stuff back then. So they needed someone that would help them with local intelligence of the local market so they could understand the American market. And it's just interesting, To be honest, maybe I'm just too lazy, but watching this video, Daniel, you see, hey, young lady, she had so much fun, right? And she was getting started from scratch, and then she built this huge house. And I was looking at it and thinking to myself, that looks like so much work. Oh, I'm so embarrassed. The kids nowadays, right?
Oh my gosh.
They didn't have the sets. Remember, they didn't have the Star Wars sets. They didn't have the Harry Potter sets back then. So it was based on your imagination, yeah.
Yeah. So cool. And so the results of this were insane. By the early 1960s, Lego had more than 450 employees, mainly selling the Lego bricks. So they stopped selling wooden toys and all the other things and focused on the bricks. And they continued to expand worldwide. And now, today, sales exceed $5 billion per year, making it the biggest toy company in the world. So the question is, why did Lego's microphone message work so well? Well, part of their message was appealing to adults. See, adults saw that through the Lego system of play, they were helping their children with a more intelligent toy, okay? Meaning that the Lego system of play helped children with STEM learning, being learning from science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. So it wasn't just play, it was smart play. And that is one of the big parts of Lego's microphone message that helped it sell so well. Not only did the kids really want this because the system of play was so fun for them, but parents were on board that this was a smart system of play that would help their kids be smarter. But the biggest reason why Lego worked so well, other than that strong microphone message, was that it was differentiated. It was the red apple amongst all of the green apples. It was the first system of play. As you saw with Godfred's big aha moment, there hadn't been before any other system of play like it. They created something completely new. They created toys that built upon each other. You could take one Lego brick set and then you could attach it to another brick set and it all integrated. You could also take all those pieces and create whatever you wanted. Okay, so this was a differentiated toy. Now you might be thinking, oh well, you know what? They just got lucky. Okay, so hashtag lucky you. You figured out something that was different that people wanted. Really? Is that the case? Is that the case? Well, think again, because Peter Field, along with the Institute of Practitioners of Advertising, did some recent studies, and they found that one of the most important discoveries when it comes to products and services and your marketing messages is that when things are labeled as creative, they generate significantly more results than standard advertisements because they are different. And they also found that currently the creative approach actually is 6 times more effective at generating market share when it comes to your marketing messages, when it comes to your microphone message. Or in other words, if you have the choice between creating a microphone message that is more of the same or creating something different, something new, on average, your new differentiated message is going to be 6 times more effective at generating market share, which means that the more risky approach is to actually be more of the same. If you're in a market full of green apples, the worst thing you could possibly do is become another green apple in your market and blend in with everybody else. There is the temptation, the false and hurtful temptation that you should copy what your competitors are doing because it seems to be working for them. Well, guess what? When you copy what's working for your competitors, you could receive some results. You could receive similar results to what they're receiving, but those similar results are way less effective than the creative approach, according to this study from Peter Fields and the Institute of Practitioners of Advertising, because the creative approach is 6 times more effective at generating market share. So it's not that Lego got lucky, that they luckily created something that was different that caught on. No, it was because they created something that was different that they had so much more of an effective approach. If they would have continued with, if we go back to the wooden toys, if they would have created the same wooden toys and same toys as everybody else like they did in the beginning and never made the transition to the bricks and then the system of play, then they would have never become the most popular toy brand in the world. It's the differentiated approach that wins, and that's what this video is all about for the creation of your message. So when a company, organization, product, or service, or a message for that matter, is able to differentiate itself like Lego, it has what we call an X factor, okay? The X factor for your microphone message is the element that shows people you aren't simply resharing a message that others have already shared in the past. It's the part of your message that shows that you're not a green apple, but that instead you're the sole red apple in a sea full of green apples in your market, okay? And with an X factor, basically you're fresh, you're new, you're exciting, you're the new thing. People pay attention to you because you're not more of the same, okay? And when you don't have an X factor, you're the green apple amongst the sea of green apples, and you're doomed. This is the sad truth, but you are doomed to mediocrity, okay? You are doomed to being more of the same. You are doomed to staying irrelevant in your market because you look like everybody else. You cannot become the market leader when you are just like everybody else. So to avoid this mediocrity in your market, you must find your X factor. You must stand out amongst the crowd, okay? So we have 3 strategies for you to be able to start to find your X factor. Of course, we have whole trainings on the X factor effect, but this video right here, right now, will give you 3 proven strategies for your microphone message that can help you find the X factor for your message. The first strategy is to show your audience something unexpected. For example, the Don't Buy This Jacket Patagonia campaign. If you haven't heard of this campaign, it is amazing. So Patagonia was able to really stand out with this Don't Buy Your Jacket campaign. Patagonia, similar to REI, they have similar values to REI, but Patagonia is an outdoor clothing brand that is known for being environmentally conscious, and consequently they attract many customers who are also worried about taking care of the environment. And the ads told people not to buy the featured jacket, but to instead join the cause, as Patagonia would help you repair, reuse, or recycle your Patagonia gear. Okay, that was their goal. Reduce, repair, reuse, recycle. And this campaign reinforced the company's mission that we're in business to save our home planet. And they did this by encouraging people not to buy more stuff that they actually didn't really need. And so a microphone message that tells you, don't buy my stuff, don't buy a company's products. It's definitely unexpected. But this is actually one that helped grow Patagonia's brand, helped people respect and love the brand even more by sharing their mission to create products without causing unnecessary harm to the environment. So that's a quick example of showing your audience something unexpected, okay? We're in the business to save our home planet. That's Patagonia's goal. Here's another example. In 2009, a TED conference invited Bill Gates to give a speech about malaria, and he did something extremely unexpected that got him in the news very quickly. And here's the quick video clip showing exactly what Bill Gates did in order to have the most talked about speech of the day.
For example, there's more money put into baldness drugs than are put into malaria. Now, baldness it's a terrible thing. And rich men are afflicted. And so that's why that priority has been set. But malaria, even the 1 million deaths a year caused by malaria greatly understate its impact. Over 200 million people at any one time are suffering from it. Means that you can't get the economies in these areas going because it holds things back so much. Now, malaria is, of course, transmitted by mosquitoes. I brought some here just so you could experience this. We'll let those roam around the auditorium a little bit. There. There's no reason only poor people should have the experience. Those mosquitoes are not infected.
Wow.
Wow.
So Bill Gates, in his genius, took a page out of Steve Jobs' book. Steve Jobs, would have been proud, right? Well, actually, Steve Jobs was still around, right, at the time. So Steve Jobs was proud. It's like, wow, Bill Gates did a great job with the speech. Finally, he took a page out of my book. Bill Gates has gotten a lot better at his speeches, and it's because he started to do things that stood out, that got people's attention. So Bill Gates did this by doing something completely unexpected, talking about malaria and the 1 million deaths per year. And he releases mosquitoes into the crowd of people at the event. And what were the headlines? What were the headlines coming out of that TED conference? Well, there was only one. Bill Gates releases mosquitoes into a crowd at the TED conference, talking about how it shouldn't only be poor people that should have the experience of these mosquitoes.
Yeah, it depends on the media channel, right? Because they could have had multiple headlines. Some people could have said, Bill Gates turned into terrorist, tries to eradicate innocent people through malaria, And then, but yes, that's something that gets talked about. And that's the whole idea behind the X Factor effect. You don't need, so his whole messaging and his whole presentation was compelling, but that's just, like the one thing people would talk about, the one thing people will remember. And you actually need both, right, Daniel? You need both. You need something that helps you stand out, but you need consistency. You need, a message that is logical, a message that it makes sense, a message that will help me switch my belief. But you need something to help you break through the clutter first. So people say what? And then you have the opportunity to share your message.
Exactly. And that has everything to do with this next slide right here. So this is Bill and Melinda Gates wearing their clown noses. And of course they did this for Comic Relief Day, for the Red Nose Day fundraiser in the UK, famous fundraiser. But What Bill Gates did not do was get on stage and throw on a clown outfit. And when we talk about differentiating yourself and standing out, some people think, well, oh yeah, I can do something different. I can get some attention. It's about getting people's attention. It's about standing out, doing something unexpected while being consistent with your brand messaging, which is exactly what Pedro was saying. So it needs to actually make sense within the context. So because Bill Gates was talking about malaria and his goals in order to eradicate malaria so that economies could better thrive around the world, it made sense within a context to have that sticky, shareable moment happen within the middle of his speech that got so much media attention. So it's not just about being different, but being different in the right way, being consistent with the message that you're trying to portray. Okay, other than doing something unexpected, the second strategy for having an X factor effect as part of your marketing message, as part of your microphone message, is to own a word or a phrase. And one of the first companies to do this extremely well was Listerine. So in 1921, Gerard Lambert, he was, he was looking for a way to help Listerine take off. At the time, they were only grossing $115,000 per year selling Listerine. But they reached over $4 million by 1927 because they started to own a new word, a new phrase in the marketplace, and that was halitosis. They found this phrase while looking through research studies. Some random article had cited the word halitosis, and they said, you know what, Listerine, we could take this word halitosis and inform the public about halitosis and position Listerine as the cure for halitosis, aka the cure for bad breath. And this worked so well in the minds of the public that later Ross Rees, the famous advertising expert, said in his book in 1961, Reality in Advertising, who can still stops halitosis from Listerine? Dozens of mouthwashes stop halitosis. Many tried to move in on this classic USP, unique selling proposition, until it became almost a source of embarrassment to them, seeking ways to phrase their imitation so that they did not advertise the leader. What Rosser Reeves was pointing out in his book was that advertisers of the other mouthwashes, they saw how well that positioning worked for Listerine, and some of them tried to copy the positioning. But when they were copying that positioning, it only reinforced Listerine's positioning in the marketplace, because people associated halitosis and stopping halitosis with the Listerine brand. So you had other mouthwashes advertising that they also stop halitosis, and it only sold more Listerine. That is powerful, and that's what we're talking about when we're talking about owning a word or a phrase in the marketplace. Now, there's a guy who is known for marketing funnels, who is known for the phrase funnel hacking, funnel building software, the death of the website, you're just one funnel away. That guy's name is Russell Brunson. That's me taking a picture with him and his lovely wife, Colette. And their positioning is that ClickFunnels, it's not necessarily a website builder, but it's one of the best website builders because ClickFunnels is a funnel building software program. And they have owned in the marketing world, in the minds of consumers, these phrases: marketing funnels, funnel hacking, funnel building software, etc. They own the phrase, and now they're known as the funnel kings, the funnel building kings of this marketing strategy. And that has worked extremely well for ClickFunnels and has helped them get on track for a $1 billion evaluation for their company. They're currently doing over $100 million per year in sales of their software program. So this proves to you that even today, within a few year period, you can own a new word, a new phrase new terminology within your niche market so that you become known for that, and so that makes you stand out amongst the crowd, because there are imitators now for ClickFunnels who are trying to jump in on this bandwagon of also being a funnel builder, and it's not working for them. They're only reinforcing ClickFunnels' strong positioning, and they are helping ClickFunnels sell more while they struggle to sell less because they're trying to copy the exact same positioning. All right. So, here's another example, a commercial. One of the first commercials from the deodorant company Secret. So here we go. Rare treat for you. 3, 2, 1.
Hey, you want this fixed before the party?
Sorry, honey. I just want my Secret anti-perspirant.
Use mine. It's right there.
I never know what you're using.
So?
So, I know Secret Strong.
Secret Strong?
Yep, it really helps keep me dry.
Well, if it's that strong, let me try it.
Honey, Secret's for women. Smell.
It's free. But now who?
The plumber.
Secret. Strong enough for a man, but made for a woman.
All right. So strong enough for a man, but made for a woman. That marketing message, that microphone message right there, it's weird to think back because we're so used to the thousands of brands that exist. But before women's deodorant existed, there was basically just men's deodorant. Did you know that? Thoughts on this, Pedro?
A lot of times you can differentiate your product just by changing the packaging and the promise. So in this case, they probably changed the scent as well, but the formula, I'm betting, especially back then, probably wasn't that much different. So for example, razors and razor blades. A lot of times you have this product that has been going on for like decades, right? And then eventually women, they also want a razor blade. So what they do is they create a pink package and a body for the blade that has curves. So all of a sudden you say like, it's pretty much the same blade, you see? It's the same product. But when you change the way you look at it and the promise, you can find a whole new market. And I think that's what they did. They understood the men already were loyal to the brand and they knew. So it's really interesting, Daniel, how they created an ad that is a dialogue between the couple. Because they know that dialogue is going to be happening once they purchase the product, right? So the objection is, why should I buy something that it's only for men, right? So they're saying in this case, the women, they are the ones to come and tell their husbands, hey, you know what? There's this product, it's pretty good. But I gotta tell you, the best part, in my opinion, was the plumber arriving.
Nice.
The guy was like, hey, what?
No, it's the interesting thing about Secret is that Secret was the first deodorant for women. They owned, just like Listerine, just like ClickFunnels, Secret owned the category, owned the phrase women's deodorant. Now here's the thing. Today, like we said, there are thousands of options for deodorant brands for women, okay, all across the world. But I've done my research, and Secret is still the top selling deodorant out of all the brands in the world. Why? Because they owned the phrase from the beginning and they've been able to maintain sales. Secret is synonymous with women's deodorant. That is the phrase that they own. Now, of course, you know, one day something could change and something could maybe there are brands catching up. That there are some Dove deodorants that, you learn about how strong the Dove brand is now for women as well. So Secret's still number one, but Dove's right there, right behind him when it comes to women's deodorant, at least according to the statistics that I've seen online. Okay, so that's the power of owning a phrase. And that's one way you can stand out in your market. What phrase, what words, what terminology can you own in the minds of the consumers? Because that can guarantee that you're going to stand out amongst the crowd, and also it can guarantee your sales for a very long time. So here we go. The third strategy is to create a fresh approach. Okay. I have a quick story for you. Here is a screenshot I took from Amazon in books for self-help, relationships, marriage. So self-help books for your marriage. As you can see here, there's over 50,000 results. So now what's crazy about this is somebody comes along and they said, you know what, I'm going to create a best-selling, marriage relationship book. Well, guess what? Even if you make it to the top 1% of best-selling marriage relationship books, that means that you still have 500 competitors because there's 50,000 titles available. That is how much information overload we have in the world today. Now, should this discourage you from writing a book about relationships, bettering your marriage, bettering the relationships in your marriage? No, 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 no. All you have to do is follow this third strategy for creating a fresh approach. And even amongst all this competition, you can stand out amongst the crowd. Why? Well, in 1992, John Gray launched a detailed book that teaches how the common relationship problems between men and women occur because of natural psychological differences between the sexes. And the name of that book was Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus. Okay. Now, this book became the top-selling nonfiction book of the 1990s. It's still one of the best-selling books on Amazon, and it has sold over 15 million copies. And the fresh approach was thanks to his analogy. The name of this book isn't, how to have a better relationship with your spouse or something like that, which I'm sure is a title that exists somewhere since there's 50,000 different book titles. But how many other book titles are named something along, that, happy, marriage. Okay. Better marriage, and they're just a green apple, right? They just blend in with everybody else. They're more of the same because they're not taking a fresh approach. Now, John Gray, he took a fresh approach. He said, let me come up with this analogy, this sticky analogy, this memorable analogy that will catch people's attention. Not only is this book about marriage relationships, but let me title it, Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus. Okay. Similar example, I don't know if we shared it in this course already, but the 4-Hour Workweek book. It's basically a book about outsourcing. The book wasn't called How to Outsource. That wouldn't have sold the millions of copies that it sold. But because it was called the 4-Hour Workweek, because of the fresh approach, because it was interesting, people said, oh, that's something I want. And they picked it up. And then they learned, oh, the secret is to outsource. But it would have never sold so much if the book was like How to Outsource. Similar example, we've mentioned the Miracle Morning book, Hal Elrod's book. That book has a fresh approach in it as well. The reason why this Miracle Morning 30-day challenge and his book took off so well is because he shared a fresh approach to a proven step-by-step process that you could follow in the morning. Not only did he say, oh, you should wake up early and do all these things, but he gave you a step-by-step process, and that fresh approach was able to get people to take action and also achieve miracle mornings as well. Another example, there is Lil Dicky's video called Earth, where he did a collaboration with 30 different artists. The core belief in that video, if you've watched it, is that we need to make changes to how we are treating the earth because of the dangers of global warming. So it's basically a collaboration video with 30 different artists about the dangers of global warming. And in the first 5 days, that music video got over 38 million views, and within 3 months, 180 million views. Now, the interesting thing about this fresh approach is that you have politicians and you have authors and you have advocates of, climate, fighting against climate change, trying to make the earth a better place, talking about the dangers of, all the pollution that's going on. You have all those advocates, but this fresh approach got a lot more virality, made a lot more noise in the marketplace because they were talking about global warming and doing it and talking about it in a fresh, appealing way, rather than just being political like so many other people have done when talking about the dangers of global warming. And that's why their video worked so well and woke so many new people up to the dangers of global warming. Okay, so fresh approaches work. What's your fresh approach? So here we go. These are the 3 strategies we shared in this video for having an X factor effect as part of your microphone message. Show your audience something unexpected, okay? Own a word or a phrase, okay? And then create a fresh approach. So you can show your audience something unexpected like Bill Gates did in his speech. You can own a word or a phrase like Listerine did. You can create a fresh approach like Lil Dicky did with his music video. And this creative approach, these are just a few ideas for you to have a creative approach, an X factor effect as part of your microphone message, so that you can have 6 times more chances at generating market share with your microphone message. So to sum up this video, I'm going to leave you with a few questions. Is your microphone message a direct copy of a message that already exists? If yes, common mistake, okay? Common mistake. Don't feel bad. Let's start to feel bad, because if yes, you need to adjust things.
Question.
Don't feel bad, but feel bad. So you need to adjust things because the creative approach is 6 times more effective. And you don't want to be a copy of somebody else. You want to be you, okay? You want your brand to embody, your differences, your values, okay? So what should you do? What should you adjust to make things different? Also, what is something unexpected that you can include as part of your message that is relevant, interesting, and that causes your audience to have a wow or aha moment? So think of when Bill Gates released those mosquitoes into the audience at the TED conference. What's that wow moment? What's that different thing that's going to create the headlines in the news, okay? Also, what is a word or phrase you can own in your market that creates a strong connection with your audience? So think of the example of Listerine with halitosis and bad breath that worked so well that created their positioning that still to today has helped them be, I believe worldwide, they're the #1 selling mouthwash brand still, okay? And then what fresh approach can you include as part of your marketing microphone message to help make sure you break through the marketing clutter? So think of the fresh approach in John Gray's book, Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus, that helped him sell 15 million copies of his book. All right, so sit down with your team and discuss your differences. What makes your brand different? What you stand for, okay? And sit down and think about these 3 approaches. You just need one of them. You don't need to do all 3. You just need one strong X factor as part of your microphone message, because that differentiator can help you break through the noise that is out there. All right? So that's what we got for you in this video, and we will see you in the next video. All right. Thank you for joining us in this episode of the Marketing Podcast Party. Please share this episode with your friends, family, and business partners. Also, remember that the party continues with your free copy of the Ideas That Influence book and interactive box experience. I wrote the book and created the box experience to help you with even more wildly successful marketing ideas. Head on over to bigideasbox.com to grab your copy. You'll get your copy for free. You just pay shipping and handling. Once again, that's bigideasbox.com for your free plus shipping copy of Ideas That Influence. I'm Daniel Din. This is the Marketing Podcast Party, and I'll see you in the next episode.